Magoo is me name. I like the swampy bog. It's time to play a game with your favorite Highland frog. Hi, and welcome to episode 4 of Max Movie Reviews. I'm your host, Max Holland93, and today we are going to go over the early 2000s family comedy, Max Keeble's Big Move. Now, this is an interesting kind of review because it's on a movie that I actually previously reviewed on this channel. It was actually one of the first videos that I came out with on this channel, and it was just a little something I did when I was first starting to learn, or rather relearn, how to make videos. And it's a movie that had been on my mind for a while as I have a personal history with it. So, and since I've launched this Max movie review series, I thought, why not revisit it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a background, give my personal history, and then I'm going to give a summary of the premise and characters, and then I'm going to give you my final review. And just a quick heads up, I may go into minor spoiler territory, just so you know. But it's not really anything that you won't already see coming from the get-go, and the movie's over 20 years old, but just in case, the movie is on Disney+, just so you know. So, Max Keeble's Big Move is an over-the-top kids and family comedy that was distributed by Disney and released in 2001. Well, when the movie was first released, it was critically panned and a box office flop, and many critics suggested that the movie may be fun for kids, but bland and unoriginal for adults. But it has found a second life on home video and TV airings, particularly Disney Channel, and since then, it has grown a bit of a following and is now considered a cult classic. Now, I should mention, there's a funny SNL video that's about two puppets that are on a rocket ship to Jupiter, and there's kind of a running joke in that video where their one source of entertainment is the movie Max Keeble's Big Move. And actually, Doug Walker of Channel Awesome, who you might know as the Nostalgia Critic, he actually reviewed this movie recently as part of his Disney-cember series in 2025. And he actually gave it a rather positive review, so I think the general consensus has improved somewhat over the years. So I actually saw this movie in the theater when it came out when I was 8 years old, and I saw it maybe a couple other times on Disney Channel, I think a few years later, and it wasn't one of my personal favorite movies by any means, but, I mean, I enjoyed watching it just fine. And then, when I started middle school, the kids at school started calling me Max Keeble, and that became a whole thing that annoyed me to no end. So since then, for the longest time, I've tried to distance myself from this movie. But around in 2023, when I turned 30, I decided to give this movie a rewatch, and I actually thought it was okay. So the plot follows our protagonist, Max Keeble, played by Alex D. Linz, a part-time paperboy with a fat attitude, or fatitude as he puts it. He starts his first year of junior high school with his two best friends, Robe and Megan, played by Josh Peck and Zena Grey. However, the three encounter bully problems. Meanwhile, the main antagonist, Principal Gindrake, played by Larry Miller, is coming out with his football program in an attempt to impress the superintendent, Mr. Nebworth. However, by doing so, we learn he is actually using most all of the school's budget to fund this project, and is also plotting to demolish a nearby animal shelter. So part of the conflict involves Max and his friends coming up with a plan to stop Principal Gindrake and save the school and save the animal shelter. And then Max learns that he and his family are moving to Chicago as his dad is being forced to by his boss. And that's when Max sees this opportunity to exact revenge against the bullies who picked on him and his friends, only to learn that he and his family are not moving after all, and that's when he has to face the consequences of his actions and make things right. So, Robe wears a bathrobe to school and is known for disgusting habits like maybe drinking out of a soda can that's been already drinking out of, or eating trash, and Megan is actually bandmates with Max, but it's implied she also has romantic feelings for him. And there there's the tall blonde girl, Jenna, who Max has his eyes set on throughout the movie, and she is seen often walking in slow motion and doing a hair flip to the cheesy pop song Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. However, we learn that Jenna is actually rather mean, as she is shown to take advantage of Max, and she's even mean to Megan. And then, let's see, there's the evil ice cream man, played by Jamie Kennedy. He is actually initially appears to be Max Keeble's initial arch rival, since Max's mom issued a health complaint when Max found a bug on his snow cone. Now, here's my question. How is that ice cream man even still in business after that bug incident and getting in trouble with the health department? And also, how does he still have a license after that huge ticket for reckless driving? And then we have the two school bullies, Troy McGinty and Dobbs. Troy McGinty is shown wearing some gothic getup and is known to write the names of his victims on his shirt. And he does things to them like throwing them in the trash, giving them a swirly. He actually has a connection with Max, as he previously showed up at the latter's 4th birthday party when he was 6 years old, and was left traumatized after seeing the singing frog puppet McGoogles the Frog on TV. Which, honestly, I would too. I mean, look at him. He looks like Kermit the Frog if he were a Scottish sleep paralysis demon. And then Dobbs, played by Orlando Brown, you probably recognize him from That's So Raven. He was a former stock market whiz kid who is currently obsessed with trying to win back all the money that he lost. And so he steals kids' lunch money while claiming to be an investor. Now, I won't spoil or tell you what happens in the end, but I will say it does kind of leave things slightly open for a potential sequel. So I've gone over the background and summary and gave you my personal history of the movie. But what do I have to say about Max Keeble's big move? Honestly, it's an enjoyable and entertaining kids and family comedy movie. And I found it quite funny. However, I found it to be a bit ridiculous at times. Like, there's the thing where Max convinces his dad to quit his job and start his own business, which I know it's a movie, but I'm pretty sure starting your own business isn't that easy. And Max also does a few things that would get any kid in trouble, like in the classroom when he does things to upset the teacher. This is a fun scene, by the way. He does some things that upsets the teacher after she makes him write a long essay because he thinks he's moving to another town, so he thinks he won't have to deal with her. Which, granted, she was mean to begin with, so I see that she may have deserved it. And I thought it was entertaining where he does like a Super Mario jump from desk to desk. And then there's also a part where he starts a food fight at the cafeteria, also a fun scene, and it was kind of an attempt to sabotage the evil principal and have Mr. Nebworth walk out on him, which, again, he deserved it. But that being said, I feel like those sort of things might be giving kids the wrong message, you know? So I can kind of see why it didn't do that well with critics initially, and I can kind of see why it bombed. But at the end of the day, I think the ridiculousness was what made the movie enjoyable, so I can see why it has a cult following. The movie was also pretty well acted and well directed, and I think Larry Miller stole the show as the evil principal. He was very entertaining and funny, though I think personally the premise and characters probably would have been a better fit for a TV sitcom rather than a movie. And also, I don't think the story was really all that original. In fact, I'm pretty sure Nickelodeon already made this movie a year prior, and it was called Snow Day. And is it any coincidence that they both feature Josh Peck and Xena Gray in supporting roles? Anyway, overall, Max Keeble's big move is a close to okay to decent kids and family comedy that's enjoyable and funny and entertaining. And I'd say I enjoyed the movie for what it is. I don't know how I would rate Max Keeble's big move on a scale of 1 to 10, so I would say maybe I'd give it a 6.5 to 7 out of 10. So anyway, have you seen Max Keeble's Big Move? What are your thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Okay, the reviews are in. Max Holland 93, 2 thumbs up.
Max Holland 93. The red light's still on.
I'm well aware of that, Mrs. Rangoon.